So today we're here in my gym and I feel extremely generous today. Why? Because I snatched my first 100, well my second 100 or my third 160 kilo snatch in training, and it was probably the easiest that I've ever done, right? And so I felt super generous. I just finished work, and so now let's get into this video. Today the weightlifting wisdom of the day is going to be about squats. Okay, I've personally squatted 280 kilos, weighing 79 kilos of body weight, as you can see just right here. And so right now I'm squatting somewhere in between, if I were to max out, 230 to 35, and I'm clean jerking 20 kilos more than what I used to clean jerk. I'm snatching 30 kilos more of what I used to snatch. And so something that I'm, preaching a lot, especially on my Instagram, is that squatting more is holding you back. In fact, for a lot of you, you might not even need to back squat anymore because you've had some knee issues, and for you leg strength is not truly a problem. Maybe you have more of a positioning issue in the clean, so then yes, maybe you should do some front squat isometrics once per week and some heavy front squat once per week. For some of you, you actually do need to squat. Why? Because your legs are super weak. You might have a 5 or 10 kilo gap in between your clean and your front squat. So as I said, you need to squat more. For some of you, maybe you don't even need to push the front squat nor the back squat anymore because your technique just sucks, right? And your positioning sucks. And so what's the point of pushing the squats, right? And so here's the thing. The number one thing you must understand is that as an Olympic weightlifter, the most important thing is to improve your snatch and to improve your clean jerk. Why do you squat? Why do you do pulls? Why do you do accessories? Why do you recover? Why do you take care of your nutrition? So you can snatch more and clean jerk more. That is the number one goal, okay? And so improving your squats just for the sake of improving your squats, like I used to do, is just going to bring knee injuries, back injuries. It's going to hold you back in your Olympic lifts. And today we're going to see why and how to actually use the squats as a tool that you're not overusing, but that you're using correctly so you can improve that snatch and that clean jerk. So now, the framework that I use with every single one of my athletes is the ABC system, okay? So it's A plus problem, B plus problem, and C plus problem. Now, Brian, what does this mean? Is that when I look at a lifter, I'm like, okay, you're snatching 80 kilos and your goal is to snatch 100 kilos. What is the number one thing that if we improve, we might not get to 100 kilo snatch, but we might get to 90 kilo snatch? What is the number one thing that we can improve? Okay, is it technique? Okay, so if it's technique, that's what we're gonna work on through variations and through some specific feedback. Now, is it positioning? We're gonna solve that through some variations and specific accessories and specific movement that are going to help the athlete with that. Is it mobility? Is it strength? So that is the most important thing, is to solve your A plus problem. Because one of the issues that I see a lot of lifters make is that they try and work on a little bit of everything at the same time. They try and work on their snatch, on their clean jerk, on their squats, on their accessories, on staying consistent with their nutrition. And here's the thing, when you try and do everything at the same time, you end up doing absolutely nothing and you don't know what's actually moving the needle forward. Because if I implement 10 things, how will I know which one actually helped me improve? I'm not gonna know, I'm just guessing. Right? And so for me, it is super important to implement one aspect at the time. And this is what I do with every single one of my athletes. And as I said, that is my thinking process as a coach when I see an athlete. What is the number one thing we can work on that is going to move the needle forward as much as possible? Now, what makes this video special is that we're going to use a case study. A case study of a lifter that I've been working with for over 7 months. Now, I'm not trying to sell you some coaching. I'm not trying to sell you some program. I don't even sell programs, and my coaching has no spots left right now. Okay, so I'm purely delivering value for you right now. When Leif came to me, he had a very busy schedule, which he obviously still does. He's very successful outside of the gym. He has big goals inside of the gym also. He wants to become a national medalist in Germany, okay? So what he needs in order to be able to do that, he needs to snatch 130 kilos and he needs to clean jerk 160 kilos. Now take notes here on what I have just done. I've given you the context, meaning the lifestyle of the athlete. So you need to take into account your own lifestyle, or if you're a coach and you're just trying to learn, you need to take into account the lifestyle of your athlete right? And you need to understand what's his goal and what is required for him to hit that goal. I'm known for the 3-2 method. Now, is the 3-2 structure going to work for Leif in this case? Absolutely not, because he's trying to get to truly like become 0.5 or 0.1% in his country. Right? If it was a master lifter, then yes, absolutely, the 3-2 structure or 3-1-3 structure will be very good, right? But I don't have a fixed structure with my athletes because, as I said, everyone has a different lifestyle, everyone has different goals. Now, his current PBs back when he joined me were 112 and 115 kilos. There's a little mistake on the presentation, by the way, it's not 125, it's 115. And his A+ problem was strength. Why? Because his front squat was 135 kilos and his back squat was 150. Now, why was it his A+ problem? Was it that he could not lift more if he didn't improve his squats? Yes, he could lift more. Yes, he could probably clean and jerk 125 kilos. But I'm not looking for a 10 kilo improvement. I am looking for what is his long-term goal. And from what I'm saying is that he doesn't even back squat what he wants to clean and jerk. Right? And so that is his A+ problem long term, because you always need to work long term. Okay? Yes, he has some technical issues that are easily solvable. Same thing for his positioning, but his back squat and his front squat needs a big improvement. So strength is the foundation of your Olympic lifts. Lev has big goals. We have to prepare his body to handle that kind of weight. The mistake, squatting 4 times per week accumulates too much fatigue for his Olympic lifts. Now, if he starts squatting 4 times per week and he stays healthy, yes, he's going to be able to massively improve his back squat and his front squat, but it's not necessarily going to translate as I want to for his Olympic lifts. Why? Because every single time I'm going to put snatches and clean and jerks, his nervous system, his body is going to be super tired. Why? Because not only is he squatting way too much, he's also working outside of the gym. He also has some other things that he's doing outside of the gym. There are, distractions. They're not distractions, but if we look at it from a purely training perspective, it's distractions. And so I'd rather him improve the back squat and front squat at the same time as he's improving his snatch and clean and jerk. This is how you run a proper strength cycle. Okay, 99% of coaches do not know how to run a proper strength cycle because they only improve their squats and then they need to restart from scratch trying to rebuild back up their snatch and clean and jerk. And then they stay stuck at the same weights they were lifting before. So that's not how you run a strength cycle. How you run a strength cycle is you're improving your squats and you're improving your lifts at the same time. And you cannot improve your squats and your lifts at the same time if you're squatting 4 times per week because the fatigue is going to be way too much. Okay, so what did we do? 1 back squat session per week, 1 front squat session per week, and 1 accessory day focused on his core. Because here's the thing, most lifters, when they're trying to improve their squats, they just focus on legs, squat, 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 squat. But 50% of the squat comes from the core, because you can have all of the leg strength in the world, but if your back and your core are not able to handle that weight, and you're not able to stay in the right position during the squats, you're not going to be able to truly improve those squats. And even if you're able to improve those squats, your lack of core strength and core stability is going to affect your clean and jerk and your snatch, right? And so this is truly what we did. Now, what are the results? Here are the results. We went from 135 kilo front squat to 170 kilo front squat in the span of 7 months. You know how crazy that is? Same exact thing for his back squat. He went from 150 to 190 kilo back squat. Now, little disclaimer here. 99% of lifters, even if they start working with me, they're not going to get these type of results. Because there are so many factors that come into play that I cannot guarantee you a 30 or 40 kilo squat improvement. But those are results that some lifters might get when they use the 3-2 strength cycle, right? Because it's not only Leif, it's also Moy, who has added multiple kilos to his back squat. Same exact thing for Caroline. Yes, I also coach women, and in between you and me, I love more coaching women than men because women complain much less than men, but whatever. Obviously, I also have some straight up killers, like for example, Leif and Moy inside of my coaching and dozens more, but I'm just talking about a few exceptions who just complain too much. And so if you're interested in the 3-2 strength cycle, here's the thing. Go watch more of my content. Do not book a call with me. Do not reach out to me if you haven't seen my content and you don't know whether you like me or you don't like me. and you don't know nothing about me and my training system and my thinking process, which is super important when you're looking for a coach, go check out the results of my lifters that I work with on my Instagram, and even I think there's some on my YouTube, but mainly on my Instagram. And then in a couple weeks or in a couple days, you will make your own decision. But always remember, successful people truly act with speed. So make a decision on whether you want to work with me or not. And if you actually want to work with me because you've already seen plenty of my content, then yes, you can book a one-on-one consultation call with me. The link is in my description, or even better, you can just shoot me a message on my Instagram, Ibanez with lifting 322, something like this. You can just put in Brian Ibanez on Instagram or click the link down below. I think the link to my Instagram is there. So God bless every single one of you, and if you have any questions, put it on the comments or reach out to me on my Instagram.